Yes, we are going to be considering the heights of the last first. If you look at this last, you'll find out that although apart from the fact that one is size 40 and the other is size 39, you find out that this is open. You can easily use this one to make sandals, all those kind of sandals that used to, we call it tongue. Yes, all those sandals that always have a kind of strap that goes in between your big toe and the second one. You can use it to make sandals, you can use it to make palms, you can use it actually to make all those kind of shoe. This one as well, you can use it to make sandals. The only thing is that any kind of sandal you want to make that has tongue, you won't be able to use this because there's no way you are going to insert it. How do you go about it? But let's start with the height first. I want to quickly explain how do you know the height of the heel of the last you are buying. Probably you just want to buy a last that you want to use to make flat sandals. Okay, what do I look out for? This is what we are going to do. Now look at this. You see I have my pen. Just put your pen here. Let me position it in such a way that we can easily see it. Put our pen here. We put our last this way. You can see this pen is I'm just using it to hold it here, and you just place your ruler here. You place it this way. You see that this one, the height is not really much. What I'm measuring is just the distance from the floor, from this platform to this place. That is what I'm trying to measure. That's the only thing I want to measure. If I place it like this and look at it, if you trace it in, you'll find out that this is just 2 centimeters. It means this last is just meant for, sandals of arms that are just about 2 centimeters. That is basically what it's meant for. So our usual flat sandals that we wear casually, flat slippers that we wear, you can actually use this kind of last to make it. With that, you have actually gotten the heel. You understand? For that, you can also use your hand. You can see the way I put my hand. Place your ruler this way. Just place it this way. As you place it this way, don't forget you are measuring from the floor. As my meter rule is now, I will just place it down and place it on it. Then you trace your meter rule down to this edge. That's what we are going to do. Now let's look at the second last. Look at this. If I raise it up this way, it's just the tip. The pen just has to be at the tip. You can use your hand as well. If I place it this way, as you can see, I want us to see what. Then you place it down. Then you check the equivalent of what you are doing, because it's meant to rest very well on that pen. The way it's resting on the pen like this. Then you check it now. This is about 7 centimeters. This is about 7 centimeters. It means this kind of last, you can use it for a heel that is as high as 7 centimeters. Don't forget, my meter rule is in millimeter, and 70 centimeters is also equivalent to 7 centimeters. That is it for measuring the height of your last. If you want to measure the last you want to buy, okay, let me see, will it be able to make a heel that is as high as 10 inches? Will it make a heel that is as high as 100 inches? That is if anybody can wear that anyway. So that is all about the height. Now I want to also explain to us this back side. There is a standard, there's a stand, as according to the picture I sent to us. We have a counterpoint on this side. We have a counterpoint. We have a top line. When it comes to our sandals or our shoes, our footwear generally, there is a standard height for this side for every last. For example, if I'm making use of last of size 37, the appropriate top line from here to here, where it should stop on this side, because sometimes you wear some shoe and the back of your leg like this will be paining you. You'll be wondering, what happened now? Why is the shoe? It's because the top line here has extended or is lower than where it should be. So for size 37 last, we are going to make use of 54 millimeter as the top line. That's going to be the height of this side. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Let's assume we are making a shoe, or I want to draw a pattern now, like a sling back. Please, that's why I send those notes, like a sling back pattern. If I want to draw it and it's coming like this and coming like this, let's assume this last is 37. It will stop at 54 millimeter or 5.4 centimeter. That's where it will stop. So for this now, this is 5 centimeter, as we can see. So it will stop on 5.4. It means from this edge to whatever point you are going to stop when you are drawing your pattern, it has to be 5.4 centimeter, just like this. It has to be. So it means it's supposed to stop here. Now somebody will be imagining, okay, if I'm not using 37 centimeter and I'm using 38 centimeter, all you do is just add, all you need to do is just add 1 millimeter. Let me say we have 54. For 37 is 54 millimeter, which is 5.4 centimeter. Now all you need to do is add 0.1 if you are working in centimeter. If you are working in millimeter, just add 1. It means now if it's 54 centimeter, if it's 54 millimeter for 37 for size 37 last, it's going to be 55 for size 38 last. It's going to be 56 for size 39 last. It's going to be 57 for this kind of size 40 last. That's what it means. I make this place, this side. I hope you understand. Even when you want to put a back on this side, like we used to have some of our designs that used to have the back parts that goes this way and this way. At this point for size 40, you have to follow that measurement. It helps you to be able to know what this side should be, which is, we have the top line, we have the counter line here. You have to learn to maintain that line. That also help you to do your pattern when you want to cut pattern. Let's say you want to cut a shoe pattern, for example. Now you know where to stop here. You understand what I'm saying? You know where to stop and come this way as you draw. I believe you understand that particular point. Now, I want to quickly show us how to mask this our last. I want to show us some points on our shoe last, which we are going to actually be needing. So I want to quickly mask the last. So I'm going to be mixing it this way. Make sure it's on the, you let it go over. That's to go over it. Make sure it's cross over it. Just let it go over themselves like that. I'm through now with my masking. I've already taped everything. Tape it. Now, I'm going to start with the center lines as far as this last is concerned. The center line is just the, the center, locating the center of the last this way. That is the center line. So you can decide to use, if you place your tape rule this way, find out that it's actually giving us the center line. But then we need to, I think my tape needs to go up a little bit more. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more. So what we're just going to do is try to locate the center. The amazing thing is that if you look at it, you can see that this side, it has bent. It's not as straight as what it ought to be. Don't mind it. It can be like that at times. So I want to make use of my tape roll. We really need to be very careful with this. We need to be careful with this so that we don't pick the wrong point. Because immediately we pick the wrong point, it makes so that's what we're trying to look at, the center point. We really need it. You know, most times this side of our leg is always wider than this side. As we know that it's always wider than it. So, but then, as you can see, this is our center point. You have to locate the center point in your leg. This side is actually very important. If you want to draw anything you want to draw now, if you're going to draw anything around this place, you actually need to locate this particular point. You have to be sure of the point. You really need to be sure. You really need to be sure. You need to be sure. Because at the same time, it has to align with the tip as well. It has to align with the tip. Seemingly looking different. Then it has to align with the tip. Just make sure you trace it until it is perfectly what you want. If it's not, adjust it. You know, some of us are good at looking at things. When you look at things, you already know what it is. So this is our center line. Yeah, so our center line. So we're going to be making use of this line anytime we want to draft any kind of pattern. If you are going to be making a pip toe, you can use it to measure how you want your pip toe to look like. Maybe you just want it to be about 3 centimeters like this. All you need to do is just pick your 3. If you want it to be at 3 centimeters like this, all you need to do is just pick your 3 and all you need is just one side. You use the other side to create the other one. If you want it to go in this way, you just do it like that. If you don't want it to go as much as that, all you need to do is just bring it forward. One important thing we should know is that each time you are drafting like this particular line and what you are bringing, they should always be perpendicular. It should be at 90 degrees centigrade. It should be at 90 degree rather. It should be at 90 degree to the line. should be at 90. So you should always be at 90 degrees to whatever you are bringing to it. So you don't want it to be that much. It can just be at that side, and then you complement this other side. It's really actually an important part of our drawing. Another place I will also want us to know is the joint lines. For the joint lines, I will quickly show us how to check the joint lines. You can make use of a table. I will assume that this platform is my table. Let me place it this way. All you need to do is just put your last beside it like this. If you want to know where your joint lines are, all you need to is just to put it like that. You will see that putting it like this is actually is this side of it is the side touching this platform. So you can use the edge of the table. I just assume this one is the edge of my table, and I'm placing it like this. So I found out that is from here to here is touching the last. So I'll just try to find a center point where I can use. So let's see that side. Then we come to this side too. We need this side as well. You know, I've gotten this one. This is a joint line. This one, this place, and then you come to this side as well and locate. Let's turn this one like this. Those places are very essential if you want to draw patterns. If you want to draw beautiful patterns, it's very important. So for this one, it's actually from here to here. So we need to pick whichever is the center, whichever side of it is the center. That's where we are going to be picking. So you find out that these places are very, very important. By the time you want to draw this part, let's say you want to draw a pattern that the front, for example, you want to draw a pattern in which the front, you know, is just this way, something like this, something that goes this way. Like this side now, it will help you. You know, there are some of our sandals that it only have this kind of front. That's the only thing it has. Then you have a covered back like the tutorial like that previous tutorial. You find it that after you have made the front, you know, don't forget, when it comes to pattern cutting, you don't cut all through. You just cut halfway like this, then place on the other one. I'll try as much as possible to work to see how we can actually learn that too. But I just want you to know what the usefulness of those points. Apart from the fact that this side and this side, you can see it here, there's one here, there's another one here. One of the usefulness of these points, of this joint line, is when you want to place your shank. I want to believe we know what shank is. That iron that is usually under our heels. You'll be needing it. It's something like this, although this is not shank, it's my ruler. So when you want to place it, it helps you to know where to actually place your shank. That is one of those things that this is meant for. You find out that it's just like the edge here and the edge here. That's what it is. So we now know what joint lines are. We know what our center line is. I told us the other time about the height. I told us about the height. So now, if I want to make use of this one, now it should be 54 is for 37. So it means 57 should be for 40. So I'm going to be using something like this. So if I want to draw anything now, I'm just going to place it like this. Sorry. I really want us to see it. I'm going to place it like this. see, I want to draw a shoe pattern. That's what I'm just going to do. And before you know it, my shoe is coming up. You see? And you see, before you know it, if it's like a sling back that we want to cut, those, so what you need to do is just so if you want it to be wider than this, depends on the buckle you intend to use. Depends on your buckle. So, you know, with this you have already created sling back pattern. As you can see, I've created a sling back pattern. You have to, because one of those things that you can do when it comes to pattern drawing is that you don't just, if you are not sure of your free hand, take your tape rule. For this one now, I can decide to just measure 1 centimeter. Measure 1 centimeter like this. Just be following that line. Measure another 1 centimeter. Then, since you have measured your 1 centimeter, just follow it. Follow it. So, we assume that we are no more using this first one. Don't mind my pencil, that my eraser that is working, the way it's working. So if it's a sling back pattern you want to create, you see that you have already created it. With this side, you have created it. You see the way I did it. I've created this one. All you need to do is just to extend it to this side. Extend it to this side where the buckle will be. So we are not considering this side, please. It's just this side I'm trying to use to explain the sling back pattern. I want to believe you understand the basic thing I have explained.